Exit signs and emergency lighting are really important elements that should be present in every commercial inspection during the life safety elements of that inspection. First, you should try to identify that there's an exit sign over every exit of the building. That exit sign should have independent power as well. So making sure that there's an independent power source is important. You should also identify whether there's directional signs. Now, the directional signs are important when your means of egress and your path out of the building is not otherwise readily apparent. So having an arrow pointing this way or that way at the exit is important. And then lastly, you should try to verify that there is emergency lighting in the building. That emergency lighting is required so that in the event of a power outage or some other emergency, that there is a basic amount of lighting in that exit to allow the occupants to safely leave the building. We have fabulous exit signs throughout this building. They are clearly marked. They are above all of our doors. They are in our hallways. They're in our corridors. They're great looking signs. And in fact, there's not a standard out there that says whether they're supposed to be a specific color. In this case, we have this color. We might also have some that are green, but they just have to be illuminated. That's the key. And again, directional. If there's a change in direction, then we'll have an arrow that points either right or left or up or down. And that helps delineate. Let's take a look at the two signs that we have present here. I have one exit sign here that is directional. It shows both a right and a left. So if you're walking from a great distance coming from this hallway, I can see that I can either go left and go down that hallway, or I can go right and go down this hallway. It's given those two important choices, just in case we have an obstruction. And then we have a second sign that's located over the exit to the stairwell, and you'll see that that does not have an arrow. That's just saying, I'm lit, I'm an exit sign, you can pass by me. So those are really important to consider. Now, should you want to go to the next step, remember we talked about an independent power source. There is typically a button on each one of these signs that allows you to depress and should still maintain the lighting. If you depress it and it doesn't flicker or it doesn't shut off, then you would know that that emergency power source is probably not functional, a bad battery or something. Then lastly, my recommendation is to report on lighting, both emergency lighting and exit signs that are old. I don't know if I could clearly define what old is, but I bet when you see it, you're gonna go, that looks ancient. And the reason is a lot of times the batteries can't be purchased, or the illumination that's inside of these signs or the lights might not be replaceable. And so that's something could be very expensive for your clients. And then lastly, as I walked around this building, this is a hotel again, and we are to identify emergency lighting. I don't see any emergency lighting. I see a lot of lighting in the building, but I don't see specifically emergency lighting. And that's usually delineated by a couple of clear bulbs that are mounted on the side of the wall or mounted just under these emergency exit signs. And so in this case, my report is going to say, could not locate the emergency lighting, recommend verifying lighting is present. Where I'm not going to say it's not here, it's very possible that the sconces on the walls or the luminaires on the ceilings are attached to some other alternative power source. But in this case, since I clearly can't identify it, I'm going to make sure my client knows that. So it's very important on your inspections, look at the exit signs, check out the emergency lighting, and note if any of them are super old.